Hi, thank you for joining me. Today I'm going to do a book tag called Snob book tag. It was originally created by Tia from Tia and All the Books, the booktube channel. So I'm gonna read you the questions and give you the answers one by one. So let's get on. Number 1. This should be fun. Adaptation snob. Do you always read the book before you see the movie? Yes. If I know a movie is being made and I haven't read the book, I read the book, I buy the book and I read it, and then I go and watch the movie. Actually, that was the case with Call Me by Your Name, written by Andreas Mann. I found out a movie was being made. I found out on YouTube, and I hadn't read the book. I didn't even know it existed, so I couldn't wait until the book came out. When I checked out the book and I saw what it was about and the writing style, so I read the book and I was eagerly waiting. I was actually nervous about the adaptation, but I loved it. So yes, if I don't know a book existed and I've seen the movie, well, that's done. I usually, if that happens, I'm still interested in how the book was written. That was the case, for example, again with Snow Falling on Cedars, written by David Gutterson, and was adapted for TV. Well, it was made into a movie, and I didn't know that. I've seen the movie when I was little, and then I found out. So I borrowed the book from the library, I think. Or no, I actually bought it in a charity shop. But it had been years before I actually read the story. I've gotten into the story again, which was good, because if I see a movie, I put the actors who play the characters, I have the faces in my mind, so I can read a book maybe a month after I've seen the movie, or even a year, because I still have those faces fresh in my mind. So yeah, always read a book if possible. Yeah, definitely. 2. Format snob. You can only choose one format in which to read the books for the rest of your life. Which one do you choose? Physical books, e-books, or audiobooks? This is a hard question. This is a difficult question. I will eliminate the audiobooks because I don't listen to as many audiobooks, although I like the format. But the trouble is between physical books and e-books, because the issue is if I'm going traveling, I've noticed every time I take a physical book with me, I don't get to read it as much. Usually when I go to visit my parents, for example, I don't get much time to read a book, but I still like to have something to read with me, just in case, you never know. But since I got the Kindle, I have the Kindle with me as well. And the thing is, I read a lot at night, so I don't like to bother my partner at 2 in the morning, 3, 4, 5 in the morning when I like to read. So I don't like to keep the lamp on to bother him. And that's when a Kindle comes in handy, the digital books. But I love the design of physical books and actually holding a book in my hand, and it's easy on the eyes. But yeah, the trouble is if I could only pick. The thing is, my goal is to make a creative retreat in a couple of years, hopefully. And I'm thinking if I would only have physical books, that would be wonderful, but there would be a problem with space. With the space, and you have to cut so many trees just to print the books. So I don't know. I wouldn't like just to read ebooks, because that's, again, it's just, for me it's mostly about the story. So I read a story when I think about reading. I don't think about the physical book necessarily. I think about what the author created, but yeah, it's difficult. It's very, very, very difficult with this, and it's getting so long. It's already But yeah, I think I would have to choose ebooks. I'm sure most people with this question they've picked physical books just because it's beautiful to hold a book in your hands and all the designs and the colors you don't get on an ebook. But just from practicality, for the practicality of it, if you're traveling, if you have because I want to have a house of my own but not huge, so I want to have little negative impact on the planet as possible. So having digital books saves a lot of space. But yeah, very very tough. Yeah. 3. Ship snob. Would you date or marry a non-reader? Probably not. No, I wouldn't. I mean, obviously, if it would happen accidentally and I kind of fall in love with someone, I mean, if I were to have fallen in love, I have a partner, so that won't be the case anymore. But yeah, it's just like if I were to date a non-reader, I would have turned them into a reader. Like, there's no such a person who's never read a book. I just don't think there is, simply because if you've been to school, you've read a book. So even if you're not an avid reader, you still read something. So, but if you refer to like an avid reader, no, I don't think I would have a problem with someone not being an avid reader. It's okay to have a relationship with someone who has other interests, you know. But yeah, my partner, for example, he works in IT, but he does like to read. He just doesn't read as much nowadays because he's so busy with work. But he used to write poems, and he likes to read. Like, I couldn't live with someone probably who doesn't appreciate a story or a book, you know. I can't imagine myself with someone who doesn't understand the importance of a book. But yeah, I mean, you never know. But my partner, he's a reader, so. 4. Genre snob. You have to ditch one genre, never to be read again for the rest of your life. Which one do you ditch? Well, because I was never a fan of math or technical stuff, I guess I wouldn't want to read those kinds of books. But like fiction-wise, I think I would ditch sci-fi books, although I have in the last few years read some books which I like in the sci-fi genre. It's not something I'm like immediately drawn towards to read, so I guess I could leave that behind without feeling too bad about it. 5. Uber genre snob. You can only choose to read from one genre for the rest of your life. Which genre do you choose? I would choose mystery, because with mystery you have romance, you have history, you have detective stories, you get educational stuff. For example, I was recently reading a book and it was this bit about how to behave in a fire, which I've read before about that. I knew that fact, but maybe other people don't know it, and by reading that they get educated while are entertained as well. So for me, mystery, yeah, as I said, you have romance, you have intriguing stuff, suspense, and all sorts of stuff. So that would be the choice for me. No questions. Yeah, no second guesses. 6. Community snob. Which genre do you think receives the most snobbery from the bookish community? I think chick lit, probably. If someone sees you reading a romance novel, and not just like any romance, especially those which I personally hate or dislike. I wouldn't say hate necessarily, but I dislike those books when I see, like romance, in the romance genre, and you have those covers, you have a heroine or whatever, the female protagonist or the male protagonist, you have them on the cover, they're like looking sexy and whatever. For me, it's just like, I mean, depends how well done the cover is, because if it's like maybe a drawn image, that works for me very well. But if it's like a photograph, I dislike that a lot, and it just puts me off. So I judge those books like, oh no, I don't want to read them. Even if the story might be good, if I see that, it just turns me off. But I know in the community, lots of people, if they see you like reading a romance novel, they make an assumption that that's all you read. Oh, is that kind of, you like sugary stuff and all that crap, which I don't agree with, because you can read, for example, like Nicholas Sparks novels, while most of them have happy endings and like nice uplifting ones, lots of heartbreaking stuff happens in those novels. So I couldn't judge everything, but yeah, that's the genre. I think it's a bit more judged by not just the bookish community, but people in general, if they see you reading something like that. 7. Snobbery recipient. Have you ever been snubbed for something that you have been reading, or for reading in general? Not as far as I can remember. For reading in general, I don't think so. If that were to happen, I would probably tell the person to just, depending on the mood I am, I would probably either be nice and tell them, you know, you don't like to read, that's fine, I like to read, it's not your business what I do with my life. If I'm a bit more, I could be more sarcastic and not even bother to be obviously nice. But yeah, in general, I can't stand people who try to pretend like they're, for example, I like to read all sorts of books. I can read non-fiction, books about science, I can read romances, really sugary ones, I can read mystery books, I can read horror, not the gory stuff, I don't really like that. But I mean, I haven't really dipped my toes in that kind of horror. Although, funnily enough, my latest book is in the horror genre, but not the gory stuff, as I mentioned. And yeah, I have no problem. I read whatever I like to read. So if someone comes and tells me, not necessarily, it could tell me or someone else that, oh, they're reading that kind of stuff, they must be, you know, not very intelligent, or no, that's a misconception. I know many people who are very, very smart, who read just for the pure enjoyment. That's what maybe they're, for example, a doctor, and all they have in their spare time, they want to read something to escape the reality of dealing with all sorts of difficult cases, for example. So I wouldn't judge someone because of something they're reading, just because I'm sure, just like I like to read all sorts of stuff depending on the mood I am, other people do the same. So tell those people who are snobs towards you and judge you for what you're reading to just, you know, mind their own business, because it's just not nobody's business what you read, honestly. So yeah, that's my thing. I don't know how excited I sounded this, because I've done the tag earlier and there was an issue with the mic, so the sound I had to record it again. But it was a fun tag. I like the questions. Thank you for doing it. And if anyone wants to do it, I'll tag Dane Cobain, because he reads a lot if he hasn't done it. Crystal, because she hasn't been tagged in here from what I see. I would have tagged Silje, but she's tagged here. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. So yeah, we'll see you in the next video.